one that we have posted was 2022. So
Okay.
yeah.
When you say the last one we have posted, what do you mean?
Online.
No, I understand
Yeah.
that. I have a feeling it came before the board though.
Oh, gotcha.
For just a cursory review, because I know Lynn tried to make sure that everything was where it needed to be before she left.
Yeah.
And that she passed off the torch, so to speak, with make sure all these are, where we're at. So
yeah.
that was all I was trying to say was I know that it says 2022 on the policy. I feel like it came before us and it just didn't get updated on the date. That's all.
Yep.
Alright, so let's go to hiring practices.
Then I don't believe we're recording either.
No, we are.
Oh, are we?
Mhm.
Oh. We're quick.
Okay, so I had asked to go through and just take what admin had drafted and put it on here to parallel where it was, but we weren't able to do that. Is that?
So by putting it down below, I was thinking that it's going to be a lot harder to go back and forth, up and down, than it would be to do the side by side that you were doing previously. Because yeah, the down below, because you would have to be jumping back and forth and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. So I figured that it would probably be a lot easier this way.
Okay. Just for clarification, for if there's another time where we're doing this, creating new policy when we have a policy.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just, like the headers, making sure that, whatever the headers are, just lining it up with that. So that was what I was asking.
Oh,
for.
yeah,
So,
I can't adjust anything on his. I don't have access to do adjusting on that one, just on ours.
So
I guess the problem as I understand it is it's whenever there's a brand new version of it written out, it's hard to track what the differences are. Is that what you're saying?
no, what the struggle is I am gonna have to parallel these side by side, because to see what our actual policy is and then compare it to what the changes are being recommended that the policy committee is not recommending, to understand where things are at on the policy, it's a lot more work.
Sure.
So
Sure.
and this is kind of new, having administrators write new policies. We haven't done that in the past. Doesn't mean it can't be done. It just we haven't done that. So that's where it's kind of just trying to make sure we're not over. Now we gotta figure out how to.
You could probably control minus.
Oh, that did that one. Okay,
Yeah,
that works.
Perfect.
Okay.
Like he sent me sex equity instead of the hiring process. Let me go through real quick and see if I can find hiring process.
Oh, yeah, I see. It's not even the same. Okay.
Well, I think maybe just this title right here this students and whatnot might be wrong.
Michelle, you're right. Because the rest of it
Is
right. Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
alright, so currently I want to go ahead and read through what we currently have and then I guess see what we've got going on over here. So the Board of Trustees has the legal responsibility of hiring all employees. The board assigns to the superintendent the process of recruiting staff personnel. The superintendent is encouraged to involve staff as may be needed in the hiring process. All personnel selected for employment must be recommended by the superintendent and approved by the board. All certified personnel selected for employment must also go through the screening process outlined in Idaho Code 33-1210 and be approved for hire by the building principal in the building to which they will be assigned. To aid in obtaining quality staff members, the following factors will be considered: qualifications, training, experience, personality, character, and the ability to relate well with students. Every effort will be extended to maintain wide diversity in staff experience and educational preparation. However, the welfare of the children of the district will be a paramount consideration in the selection of teachers and
And
the Lakeland Joint School District shall recruit actively for the best qualified person for each job vacancy. The board and administration reserve the right to assign and transfer personnel in the best interest of sound education policy. Job announcements will be made available to current staff members of the district. A list of recruitment sources will be developed and maintained by the district office and updated as necessary in order to recruit the best qualified personnel for each vacancy. Certified professional employees who are currently under contract may apply for any vacancy for which they are properly endorsed through the regular application process. No certified professional employee on probation will be qualified to apply for or request a transfer to any vacancy in the district. The recruitment period for vacancies shall be a minimum of 2 weeks unless declared an emergency by the district superintendent, or when district personnel actively recruit where there is a sufficient applicant pool from a previously announced recruitment effort. Where there is a sufficient applicant pool, it will not be necessary to advertise the position. Applicants for specific teaching positions shall meet the state's highly qualified standards, and there will be no discrimination in the hiring process. See policy 5120. As required in Idaho Code 65505, the district will observe preference for veterans and disabled veterans when considering hiring employees to fill vacancies, selecting new employees, or implementing a reduction in force. As required in Idaho Code 33130, the district will conduct a criminal history check for applicable positions. See policy 5110. Each newly hired employee must complete an Immigration and Naturalization Service form as required by federal law. Applicants for teaching positions shall provide evidence of meeting state requirements for regular certification and sign a statement authorizing current and past school district employers to release to the district all information relating to job performance or job-related conduct. Applicants who do not sign the statement release shall not be considered for employment. The district will consider information received from current and past school district employers only for the purpose of evaluating applicants' qualifications for employment in the position for which they have applied, and no one shall disclose such information to anyone other than the applicant who is not directly involved in the process of evaluating the applicant's qualifications for employment. Non-certified applicants may be employed on a conditional basis pending receipt of information from current and past school district employers. Applicants shall not be prevented from gaining employment if current or past out-of-state employers are prevented from or refuse to cooperate with the district's request. See Forms 5100 F1 and F2. Do we have those? Hey Shannon.
Hey, Shannon. Good to see you.
The forms, they're on the website, I can pull them up.
So we do have
Probably
5100
maybe
F1 and
F2.
5100 F2.
I don't know if they're posted, but I know that we have them, whether they're in the drive or whether or not they're online. So let me pull it real quick.
Okay. Dollywood. I'm like Hollywood, Tennessee.
Dollywood. No, this would have been from first, second visit there. Yeah.
Cool.
5100.
When I was been there doing that, I don't know that we'll go back, but it was super fun to do.
Yeah, you got the sweatshirt.
And
Yeah.
5100
Those
F2. We
solid
do
performers.
not have them posted on our website.
Okay, they should be. We have 5110. That should be on the website. There was another one up here.
And 5110 is on the website.
Okay. 5120.
5120 is on the website.
Okay, so we'll need to put those two F policies. if we
F1
have
and
them.
F2? Yes, we do. And
So the Board of Trustees of Lakeland Joint School District number 272 will have placed before it all applicant names recommended for a contract and approve applicants unless they personally have knowledge not available to the building administrator and the screening committee. In that case, the board will not take action until all concerns have been reviewed by the building/program administrator. Upon approval by the Board of Trustees, a contract in a form approved by the State Superintendent of Public Instruction will be sent or given to the applicant pursuant to the requirements set out in Idaho Code 33-513. The applicant must sign the contract and return it within a specified time from the date the contract is delivered. Should the person willfully refuse to acknowledge receipt of the contract or the contract is not signed and returned to the board in the designated period of time, the board may declare the position vacant. Should the candidate not be approved or the person willfully refuse to acknowledge receipt of the contract or the contract is not signed and returned to the board, the superintendent will remand the situation to the building administrator and screening committee to provide the next applicant's name for consideration. To qualify for employment, each teacher or administrator must have a valid Idaho Teaching Administrative Certificate on file in the district office at the beginning of the school year. Salary may be withheld if the certificate is not on file by September 10th of the given year. Okay. So over here, we have purpose. The Board of Trustees holds the legal responsibility for hiring all employees. This policy establishes consistent procedures for recruitment, selection, and employment across the district, ensuring alignment with Idaho law and the district's educational mission. Delegation of authority. The board delegates to the superintendent the responsibility for recruiting and recommending personnel for employment. The superintendent may assign recruitment duties to qualified designees. All hiring recommendations are subject to board approval. Recruitment shall be conducted professionally with emphasis on securing high-quality staff. Job postings will remain open for a minimum of 5 days unless an emergency or sufficient applicant pool exists. Internal applicants under current contract may apply for positions for which they are properly endorsed. The superintendent will create and administer procedures to govern the recruitment, interview, and selection process. Selection criteria. Hiring decisions will consider but are not limited to the following factors: certification and qualifications, training and experience, ability to relate well with students. The welfare of students shall be the paramount consideration in all hiring decisions. Legal compliance. All applicants must undergo screening in accordance with Idaho Code 33-1210. Criminal history checks will be conducted for applicant positions. Idaho Code 33-130. Veterans and disabled veterans shall receive preference when qualifications are equal. I don't know that that's...
It's an Idaho statute.
No, I know. It's over here we say it, to me, we're saying it differently.
Oh,
Is
gotcha.
my only thing.
Hmm.
New hires must complete federal immigration and naturalization service documentation. Certified personnel must hold valid Idaho certification and sign contracts approved by the state superintendent of public instruction. Applicants must authorize release of job performance and conduct records from current and past employers. Refusal to sign the release disqualifies the applicant from consideration. Information obtained will be used solely for evaluating qualifications and will remain confidential. For secondary school coaching vacancies, preferences will be given to qualified, certified employees. Consideration does not guarantee selection. Okay.
And before you go any further, 5100 F1 and 5100 F2 do not exist. They are not the ones that I thought they were. There is a different policy that has a bunch of them, but it's not that one. So they do not exist.
Okay, well, that's a bummer.
Okay.
Alright. applicants shall not be prevented gaining employment if current or past out-of-state employers are prevented from or refuse to cooperate with the district. Okay, so I'm gonna highlight this. This is one of the challenges. Oopsies. Oops. I don't want that. Where's my? Where is the highlighter thing?
I think it probably just got squished. If you go
Go ahead. Sorry. Make it stop. Make it stop. Okay.
down to the toolbar,
This
see
one?
where there's a little pencil kind of off to the right with the
This
drop
one?
down.
Okay.
Oh, that's shoot.
So
Like
that's
the
three dots.
3 dots.
Yep.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
I'll give you all the things you're
perfect.
missing.
Nice. Yep. Everything
Perfect.
that's
Thank
usually
you.
there.
Yeah, because it did get condensed, so it just.
All right. So, employment is not official until the contract is approved by the board and signed by both the board chair and the applicant. Failure to return the signed contract within the designated time frame may result in the position being declared vacant. Then we have legal references. Okay, well this is significantly different than what we have over here.
We could probably strike right away the students' equal education, non-discrimination, and sex equity title.
There's no, this is true.
Oh, no
There's
access,
no
yeah.
Yeah, no
access, which is partly why we should always just work off in the draft.
Gotcha.
Has the legal responsibility for hiring all employees. The board assigns, alright, so what we could do, let's just make this. I don't mind that statement. I wonder if I can.
You could probably copy paste and then just
paste.
color red.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like I know exactly what you're about to do, and you can probably save yourself time.
Thank you, Shannon.
We've done this one too many times. I might be able to predict where she's going.
Right. Alright, let's go there. Let me make that, oops, a red.
Perfect.
So, the board assigns to the superintendent the process of recruiting staff personnel. The board delegates to the superintendent the responsibility of recruiting and recommending personnel for employment.
Which is very similar to that sentence you just read.
Yeah, the superintendent may, okay, so I'm gonna take this. I guess let's do this. Okay, so the board delegates to the superintendent the responsibility for recruiting and recommending personnel for employment. The superintendent may assign recruitment duties to qualified designees. Who would that be and what does that mean?
Probably like to a
Yeah.
building principal or
Yeah,
to
or
the
to a
director of
director.
transportation, or it depends on what position's being hired.
Okay.
Like if we, yeah. I know for some of our positions last year, we were making all kinds of phone calls because we didn't have a lot of applicants and we were.
Yep. And that should be the responsibility of the building principal or the director,
Okay.
because they know the best fit for their program.
All personnel selected for employment must be recommended by the superintendent and approved by the board. All certified personnel selected for employment must also go through a screening process outlined in Idaho code and be approved for hire by the building principal in the building to which they will be assigned. Okay, that's not stated over here anywhere, and I think that's significant, because I don't think we have the right to take that away from the building principals.
Right.
recruitment shall be conducted professionally with an emphasis on securing, okay, so, to aid in obtaining quality staff members, the following factors will be considered. Qualifications,
Yeah.
training.
I got a question real
Yeah.
quick. So when they're asking about the screening process, cause I've heard in the past that the principals don't have access to the screening process.
We set our,
Screening.
we set our
The
screening
principal
process.
does all of the screening themselves.
But they don't even, like, do you remember what happened with the band teacher in high school?
Oh, that's
Because,
flip side, we have screening access.
Yep, so I think what you're referring to is background
Background
check
check.
results that come back.
okay,
'Cause
so
we-
they don't get to see that then?
So if an applicant comes in and lies on their application,
Mhm.
there are cases where we wouldn't necessarily know until
Right.
they've been offered a job, and then we do a background check.
Gotcha.
In which case, we still have recourse. Like,
Right.
that information is immediately shared with the principal as soon as Human Resources obtains it.
Right.
But it isn't part of the pre-screening.
It isn't.
That's what
no.
I'm saying.
Yeah,
So
we
the
don't know that.
The principal should be part of the pre-screening.
They,
no.
they do 100% of the pre-screening.
Okay.
Yeah.
We don't do background checks on somebody until we're ready to offer a job.
Right.
And so that information didn't come to us in the pre-screening because it wasn't information that was needed at that time.
Right. Okay.
And fortunately, it's incredibly rare for somebody to lie on their application to the extent that it's a problem, or at all. Not even
Well,
to the
also
extent
they
that it's a
weren't-
problem, but.
They were just charged, so it wouldn't show up on
Hmm.
Right.
a
Sure.
background
Yeah,
check.
some unique
So-
circumstances there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question though, Dave. The principals do all of that screening.
So they do the application, look through their application.
Yep.
And then say, okay.
We
this-
set the criteria,
Right.
like, okay, we want to look at years of experience, you know,
this,
endorsements,
yeah.
these are the things that are gonna have the biggest weight, and then we'll look at, those things, and then, so if you've got 20 applicants,
Right.
how are you whittling it down to the 7 to 10 that you'll interview,
Mhm.
or
Yep.
6, or whatever it is, that's criteria that we set in our buildings.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so they, whoever did this, okay, we've got recruitment procedures, which is part of this, but,
All those first on her packet.
Oh, that's sweet.
okay, so all personnel selected for employment must be recommended by the superintendent. Okay, so I.
So the principal recommends it first, right? And then the superintendent takes their recommendation.
Correct.
Right.
So,
Which, like she said, this one over here doesn't talk about principal, but this one does, which is probably
Right.
important to have, cause it is part of the process.
right,
Yeah, the one on the right is just really general. It just says
Right.
we'll delegate to, and it kind of leaves it open-ended.
It's much more concise, it's less wordy,
Yeah.
which you.
Yeah,
But-
yeah, readability is
Yeah,
quality,
important.
but it's,
But it is
yeah,
missing some key components.
it is,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so if we took, I guess, this.
Does our current policy have where it says here, minimum of 5 work days?
I think our
No.
current policy says
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
It
Okay.
I mean,
does,
it's,
so that's,
That's why I was like, this looks different than what I remember seeing, but I couldn't.
yep.
alright, so, recruitment shall be conducted professionally with an emphasis on securing high quality staff. Job postings will remain open for a minimum of 5 workdays unless an emergency or sufficient applicant pool exists. Internal applicants under current contract may apply for positions for which they are properly endorsed. Will create and administer procedures to govern the recruitment, interview, and selection process. Okay, so all personnel selected for employment must be recommended by the superintendent and approved by the board. All certified personnel selected for employment must also go through the screening process outlined in Idaho code and be approved for hire by the building principal. Okay, so this paragraph I think is significant. It
Mhm.
needs to stay. I don't know how it aligns in this unless okay, to aid in obtaining quality staff members, the following factors are qualifications, training, experience, personality, character, and ability to relate well with students. Every effort will be exerted to maintain wide diversity in staff experience and educational preparation. However, the welfare of the children of the district will be paramount consideration in the selection of teachers and, okay,
So,
go ahead.
would it make sense to put the header for selection criteria in front of, sorry, right here? Because it feels like this information
Okay.
is right in here.
Yeah, I agree.
The easiest way is just stick at the front.
Yep.
So is it here or below the red?
I think below the red.
Okay.
And I don't even know that you need all of that, because I feel like this piece right here.
Oops, sorry.
You could just keep the
Down
header.
here,
Yeah.
it's gonna be one or the other, I don't think you need both.
Okay, so take that out, but keep the title
Mhm.
selection
Mhm.
criteria. Okay.
I feel like the information that was under there
Mm-hmm.
is just, yeah. And that includes your building principal stuff that's missing if you leave it that way.
Right.
Do we need to expand so it doesn't just say building principal, but also and or director?
Okay.
And then and or program?
So let's see. All personnel selected for employment must be recommended by the superintendent and approved by the board. All certified personnel selected for employment must also go through the screening process as outlined there and be approved for hiring by the building principal in the building to which they shall be assigned or will be assigned. What if
Building principal or program director.
Mhm.
not wordsmithing this?
Because we're talking
I'm just thinking
certified
about
employees
if this
now.
applies to bus drivers and
Well, and
facilities.
this is all certified,
Oh, you're right. It's
so
certified.
the only one that would probably fit would be like Kelsey Badger.
Yep.
She would maybe have people that
Or
she would,
programs.
you know, mhm.
Yep.
Like our SLPs are hired by her and go out to multiple buildings.
Yep. Yep. Thank you for the reminder on certified.
I'm assuming that's what it is, just by the verbiage.
It's been one of those days.
Kinda normal. This is not wood.
It's fake.
Still counts.
Mhm.
It's the intent of not.
Pieces
not
of
what they get you.
particles of wood.
Yeah.
Particles and it's bedded in plastic.
Program director, is that what we were thinking?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oopsies. What happened?
You guys, I don't know. I mean, the first sentence in this policy says responsibility of hiring all employees.
Yeah, so if we leave it as program director, that still is gonna cover your
So that would cover the
transportation,
departments as well as buildings.
cause your directors for, your non-certifieds are directors.
Yep.
It'd be a Chad or, you know.
Yep. Or Tim or, yep.
Mhm, mhm.
Beautiful.
And I would maybe even take out in the building, cause then you're not tying it to a building, I don't know that you need it. That phrase in the building right after,
Be approved for hire by the building principal, program director, or immediate supervisor.
Which they will be assigned.
Yep. Perfect.
Because if,
cause they might not be tied to a building, an SLP is going to multiple sites, or, you know what I mean, like,
Yep.
they're just being hired by the district, and their director or their principal will be,
Yep.
right, so let's see here. So the following factors will be considered: qualifications, training, personality, character, and ability to relate well with other students. So,
the only thing that's on this list over here that's not here that probably matters when you're talking about a certified position is certifications. And it could matter even in like a Tim Hague situation, you want
Yep.
somebody with specific certifications, that's gonna matter
Totally.
and would be considered. So after qualifications, maybe.
Okay, personality, character, and ability to relate well with students. Every effort will be extended to maintain wide diversity in staff experience and educational preparation. That's just a statement. I don't know why it's there.
Probably helps cover our,
I'm not sure what that means in practice.
Um,
I mean, if you asked us to explain how we do that, I wouldn't be able to give you an answer.
two equally qualified applicants, and one is more diverse, you're gonna hire the, I don't know,
Yeah.
it's discriminatory. Like, is it there because they wanna make sure we're not discriminating? Is that statement there? Because, but then, I don't know.
The thing that gets me is educational preparation. I'm not sure what that means. Could come up with some
We're
guesses.
not just
but-
hiring the newbies.
Sure.
what's wrong with the newbies? The welfare of.
We do like the new.
They are cheaper to employ.
And full of energy.
The welfare of students will be a paramount consideration in the selection process of teachers.
Yeah,
Will be
Teachers and staff.
in,
the selection of staff.
There you go.
okay. The Lakeland Giant School District shall recruit actively for the best qualified person for each job vacancy. The board and administration reserve the right to assign and transfer personnel in the best interest of sound educational policy. Job announcements will be made to current staff members of the district. Okay, so up here, this is where,
Recruitment? Is that-
Yeah.
Mhm.
okay, so recruitment shall be conducted professionally with emphasis on securing high quality staff. Job positions will remain open for a minimum of 5 workdays unless an emergency or sufficient applicant pool exists. Internal applicants under current contract may apply for positions for which they are properly endorsed. Now down here, we talk about if you're on probation, you're not moving.
They're just not eligible to put their name in.
Right.
They could still be moved. Like we could move them.
Okay, but what this is,
Oh, I see what
the
you mean.
intentionality, I believe, of this policy is that if there's a vacancy, it's supposed to be opened. And then if you've got someone that you wanna put in there, it would have to come from the applicant pool, not just from, I want my friend Bob to go into this position.
Oh, agreed.
So I think that's in trying to make sure that the wording supports the ability to hire for that position. What I was talking about is it said in here, something about being on probation, that you're not eligible to apply for the position and move over. I don't know where, okay.
If you do a control
Yeah,
F
Control F and look for the word
for
pro.
probation,
Mhm.
yeah, cause I remember seeing that as well.
There we go. No certified professional employee on probation will be qualified to apply for or request a transfer to any vacancy in the district.
Okay.
So I mean, I don't know, I'm not married to this language, it's just in the policy, so I'm just
Right.
trying to figure out
Like,
what.
is this best practice.
Exactly. Is it best practice? And do we do it? Because I'm sure there are those that would say, we're not doing it. So if we're not doing it, then why is it in the policy? If we,
Or if we wouldn't do it, like, okay, maybe
Right.
a transfer is in
Right.
everybody's best interest.
and in all fairness, I don't know if I don't view the word probation as a negative. It could be someone that was just newly hired to the district. They need to complete their 90 days or 30 days or however many days
That
we
was my
have.
question, what does it mean by
And
probation
so-
for?
Improvement plan, maybe?
Well,
They're on
is
a-
that what they're meaning? If you're on
I
an
don't know.
improvement plan, then you can't move around the district.
Right.
You need to get your stuff and your ducks in a row before you can move on to something
Right.
new. So maybe the word probation needs to change, because I think everybody that gets hired as new hires is on a probation. But like, if I'm newly hired to this district, brand new, and I'm hired for third grade, but I've got an endorsement in high school math, and then a math position opens up in mid-year, and I want to go apply for that, but I'm still on my probationary period, I'm not allowed to.
Hmm.
So that's where I'm like,
Yeah.
what words are we meaning here? And
Or
That's-
what
that's a
what
good
does the
question.
word probation mean in the,
Right,
in that context,
right.
cause I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm not under the impression that we have a probationary period for new hires. I
Not
mean,
that I'm aware of.
they day one,
Okay.
they come in with the same contract rights that anybody in their category has.
Okay, okay, learn something new every day.
Well, and so I guess an easier way to look at that would be, like, a brand new teacher in their first year
Yep.
has a different contract than a new hire
Correct.
from, for us
Mhm.
with
Cat
5
1,
years.
2, 3,
Mhm.
right.
You
right.
could come in as a brand new hire and be a Cat 3, which gives them a different property rights than your Cat 1, even though they're new to us.
Right.
So those pieces, I don't know that there is a probationary, especially for those that are Cat 1.
Okay, and this is specific to certified, not
Mhm.
classified. So, because I think classified comes in on probation, don't they? Like 30 days or 90 days or something.
There may be a
I
probationary
think there
period
is,
for
and I think that's
classified.
whatever it is,
Yep.
like a state statute type
Right,
thing, because
yeah.
we're
Right.
an at-will
Correct.
state.
Correct.
So in any of those cases, if it doesn't, like,
Yep.
it's different.
Yeah. I guess I'm curious if we need that statement in there at all.
Well, I do think there needs to be guidance for teachers that may be on, like Dave mentioned, either
Yeah,
informal or
for
formal
formal
improvement
improvement.
plans. Because are we going to allow them to move about the country
Mhm.
if we've got them on?
Yeah.
Well, you're not
I mean,
allowed to leave when you're on probation. For
Well,
improvement
If it was a
plan.
mutually agreed upon as a building principal, you're like, you know what, maybe this would be a good move for everybody.
Yep. I think
But if
that,
they're avoiding the problem, like, I wanna get out of here because I don't want to have to deal with the fact that,
right
Mhm.
now, this statement being in here is a little, it's written in a way that is just restrictive to employees.
Correct.
Whereas there's other language in here that compels the hiring administrator to make the best possible decision, which means conducting reference checks,
Mhm.
checking with the building, who they're moving from. Like, it just seems like we have some other layers in place to kind of take care of
naturally
this
take care of that, for sure.
without having this sentence in here. And then to Shannon's point, and this is kind of the original statement that I made, is we still kind of want to reserve the right to be able to move them.
Correct. Correct.
I don't wanna
Because
tie our
sometimes
hands.
it actually is in the district's or the teacher's or the school's best interest to make a building to building transfer happen.
Right. Right.
And I just wonder if we strike the whole sentence, if that would actually
And
help us
allow
out a
the
little
rest of
bit.
those pieces to take care of itself when you're looking at best hiring
Okay,
practices.
so that's that one sentence.
And we'll keep it in our pocket, cause as we go through, we might, find something else that makes us think that we need it in there.
Okay, so, this Lakeland shall recruit actively for the best qualified person for each job vacancy. Recruitment shall be conducted professionally with an emphasis on securing high quality staff.
Mhm. So if you're going with what's above, you don't necessarily need, I feel like we have some redundancy because,
Right,
Mhm.
but I like the verbiage best qualified. Because, to me, high quality is not necessarily the same as the best quality.
That's fair, that's fair.
Um,
Well, and you said best qualified, which I think is an important distinction
Mhm.
because that references the pool that we're pulling from instead of just overall.
Okay. Oopsies. Okay, so then. Okay, the board and administration reserve the right to assign and transfer personnel in the best interest of sound education. Okay, so that ties in with,
I think that fits with
Here.
your selection because it's who you're choosing for
Right.
the job. We may choose to move you.
Yep.
staff members, the board and administration reserve the right to assign and transfer personnel in the best interest of sound educational policy. Job announcements will be made available to current staff members of the district.
That's part of recruitment, I would think. Because you have to announce a job before you can recruit a job, before you can select a job.
Yep.
Okay, so
That's a
then
good
if we
point.
take this,
And the paragraph below
And
as
below
well.
it too, if you want it, would be part of the recruitment, yeah.
Yeah.
move that up here. And then. Okay, so, let's see. Job announcements will be made available to current staff members of the district. I think needs to go there. Job posting will remain open for a minimum of 5 days. Now,
Down below it talks about 2 weeks.
2 weeks, right. The recruitment period for vacancies shall be a minimum of 2 weeks unless declared an emergency, or when district personnel actively recruit where there is sufficient applicant pool. Okay, so, Jake, do you know, did Brooke recommend the 5 days?
5 days is our current practice in
Oh.
in an operational, like, kind of norm.
Okay,
For-
so it's been the practice, it's just not been the policy.
So they've operated under the
So, and that has,
emergency by district superintendent.
so that has been the practice for at least as long as I've been an administrator in the district.
Okay.
Cause we have always posted for 5 days.
Okay, so 5 work days unless an emergency or sufficient applicant pool exists. All right. Okay, so we could then just okay, I do think there needs to be, I'm just gonna leave that little sentence there for the moment. Job announcements will be made available to current staff members of the district. Job postings will remain open for a minimum of 5 days unless an emergency or sufficient applicant pool exists. Internal applicants under current contract may apply for positions for which they are properly endorsed. Now a list of recruitment sources will be developed and maintained by the district office and updated as necessary in order to recruit the best quality. Okay, what does that mean? What are recruitment sources?
My
assumption here is that the district office is responsible for posting the job in places where it's likely to be seen.
Okay,
And so teacher job boards, schoolspring.com.
Okay.
University of Idaho.
Yep, University of
Indeed.
Idaho. Yep, Indeed.
Whatever they
Okay.
use these days.
That,
So-
that's a stretch maybe
Awesome.
based on the specific language, but that's the
But that
only
would be-
thing I can think of that would fit
Okay.
that.
And I know even with some of our classified positions, it's been through, oh, I lost it.
Lincoln.
No, it's an office that you would go to if you want to find a
Oh,
job.
is that-
designed to maintain.
No, like if you're looking for jobs.
Oh,
The employment office.
yeah, yeah, okay. I'm
Mhm.
with you.
I'm losing the word that goes with it, but
Yeah,
yeah.
you got it.
Maintained and updated.
It's late, Shannon, we're all, that's where I'm at too.
As necessary.
Oh, let's just start there, you
In
know.
order to recruit the rest for each vacancy. Okay, so then,
And this is a question, it might be more of a Jake question. Let me go back down with what you struck down there. Where it says actively recruit where there is sufficient
Mhm.
applicant pool
From
from
a
a previously
previously-
announced recruitment effort.
I had the same question.
I'm like, cause otherwise, how are you getting a pool?
Mm-hmm.
okay, but the program Frontline that they use, I think is where they're talking about the pool, because if you go back in there, you can see everybody that's applied.
Right, but that's what I'm saying, like, without that phrase in there,
It's
you have to
very-
advertise the job to get an applicant pool.
Yeah.
Unless it's coming from a previously posted, I think about this with our science job.
Mhm.
You know, when we went to look for a second science person, we had a significant pool to draw from the first time.
Mhm.
So we went back to that same pool,
Yeah.
rather than reopening the position.
I think it's important to keep that language in there. If we scroll up to the red language above that we're replacing it with, to me, sufficient applicant pool exists is just a little bit like I'm not quite sure what that
What's
means.
sufficient, that's, yeah.
And I think it leaves us open to the interpretation of exactly what I think you're trying to avoid.
Mhm.
If I have one person in my applicant pool,
And it's John Smith
and
and I
it's
really wanna hire
and
him.
it's my best friend John Smith, that's not that. What are we considering a sufficient applicant pool? But
Get
if
your
we add
application in to
that,
me in the next 24 hours, and if you're the only one in there, I'll close it the next day and you're in. Like, we don't want that.
yeah, but if you copy that language
This one right here.
from a previously announced recruitment effort,
Wait.
So-
Okay. Where are we at? Thank you.
Group effort.
I need a laser pointer.
That would be cool.
Like, I know exactly where it's.
So then go, tying it up here. So,
Go old school and get one of the yardsticks.
I know I would need to tape a few of them together
so
though.
job postings will remain open for a minimum of 5 workdays unless an emergency exists. Internal applicants under current contract may apply for positions for which they are properly endorsed. Where there is a sufficient applicant pool.
Hold on.
From a previously announced recruitment effort, it will not be necessary to advertise the position.
Can you scroll up one more paragraph? I feel like I lost my sentence here that I was going to add to.
Well,
I think she moved
was-
it.
Okay.
That's where she cut and pasted and moved it down and created her own new one.
Well,
Right.
I took this
Oh, okay.
because it started with from a previously announced recruitment effort
Yep.
where there is sufficient applicant pool, it will not be necessary to advertise
Right.
the
But I'm
position.
just
Got
saying,
it.
you
So
took those.
We
you
have
took-
all that language.
Mhm.
Okay, I must have
Okay.
looked away there for a second.
Okay. So the board reserves the right to transfer personnel in the best interest of South. So that's part of this selection criteria. Okay. Applicants for specific teaching positions shall meet the state's.
You've included
Oh.
that up above now, so you can get rid of it down here, right?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Alright, so applicants for specific teaching positions shall meet the state's highly qualified standards. There will be no discrimination in the hiring process. See policy 5120.
Does it,
What's that?
does it have, I didn't see it, but we talked about this in the board meeting, was, all positions will be at minimum posted district-wide. Every position.
Okay.
So not just in building only.
Yeah, no more in-building crap, because,
Well, right now,
I
it
got
doesn't
you.
talk about in building at all, everything looks like it has to be
Well,
posted.
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying, but.
So recruitment,
Yeah.
that would be, I think under recruitment, let's see what it says. Recruitment shall be conducted professionally with the emphasis on securing the best qualified staff for vacant positions. Job announcements will be made available to current staff members of the district.
Okay.
I think that's your.
That covers it right there, 'cause
That
it's of the
covers it
district.
right there. Minimum right there.
Yep.
Okay, so I think if we did all
Yeah.
job announcements will be made available to current staff members of the district. Job postings will, I'm really just driving me nuts. We have postings, we have announcements, we have staff, we have employees, we have members.
Is every policy like this in every
Mhm.
meeting?
Pretty much.
This is like watching paint dry.
Welcome to the team, Dave. You're gonna love it.
Yeah. I'm supposed to be hunting.
It's dark, you can't hunt right now.
Yeah, it's a little light. I can see my pins. Just enough.
Well, and because a whole new policy was written trying to
Merge the two.
marry it into this is a little bit.
The most of the other ones are just reviews.
We usually just take our own policy and figure out what needs to change within that policy.
Okay.
So.
But this one's all new.
Yeah, well, this policy over here is new, and I'm
Right.
just trying to figure out.
Try to incorporate as much as we
Yeah.
can.
Right.
Get them to,
Alright, so, certified professional employees who are currently under contract may apply for any vacancy for which they are properly endorsed through the regular application process. Okay, so I think that,
goes up above.
yeah,
Is it redundant?
I don't know,
Do we need to have it?
I don't know.
We're gonna
Just
reread this for the
copying
15th time.
and pasting.
Yep. Where I appreciate that you're organizing first. That's how my brain works too.
Mhm.
But
We'll create an recruitment interview selection process, a list of, okay. Where there's sufficient, okay, so actually, I think. It could go here. Oopsies, my bad. So where there is, so recruitment shall be conducted professionally with emphasis on screening, with emphasis on securing the best qualified staff for vacant positions. All job announcements will be made available to current staff members of the district. All job postings will remain open for a minimum of 5 workdays unless an emergency exists. Internal applicants under a current contract may apply for positions which they are properly endorsed. Where there is a sufficient applicant pool from a previously announced recruitment effort, it will not be necessary to advertise the position. Certified professional employees who are currently under contract may apply for any vacancy for which they are properly endorsed through the regular application process.
I think that's redundant to the 2 sentences above.
Okay.
The one that says job posts or internal applicants under contract may apply for positions for which they are properly endorsed, pretty much says that.
Okay.
But
Mhm.
it just is a little bit broader to the fact that it might not be a certified.
which would reflect how we need to operate because it's
Mhm.
not just certified. It's
Correct.
internal
Right, and even if
applicants.
it says all job posting announcements will be made available to current staff members of the district, those 2 sentences, I think, cover everything in that last,
Okay.
I
my
agree.
opinion.
So, Is that right? Is that what I was striking out?
Yeah,
Yep.
no, I
But
think
I just leave
that,
it there.
all
Okay.
that,
That's perfect.
Alright,
isn't it redundant to the other parts?
alright, so part of selection process, the board, reserve for
Okay.
transfer personnel. Applicants for specific teaching positions shall meet the state's highly qualified standards as required by Idaho code. The district will observe preference for veterans and disabled veterans when considering. See, this is where I felt over here, it was not. It was like, shall receive preference when qualifications are equal. Over here, we're just saying if you're a veteran, or disabled veteran, then, you know, that is its preference.
So the one on the right would be correct, like they do have to be equal in their qualifications.
Just because you're a veteran doesn't mean you get the job.
Right.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sorry. Darn it.
A little
Unless
both.
you
I
wanna,
was gonna
unless you
become
wanna be
a
on
teacher.
policy committee, Dave, and then you're hired.
I was gonna be a
Gotcha.
teacher, but now I'm not.
Mhm.
'Cause I don't get.
I'm
I
like
get it all.
automatic in, therefore.
So,
Okay, so, if we. Okay, so applicants, so.
I'm doing the same. That one's there, that one's
That's what
there,
I'm looking
that
for,
one's-
right? That's what I 'cause,
I am
yeah.
mentally doing that right now.
So, let me know what I can strike.
Well, like, depends, do you like the red better because it's more concise?
No, the red means it's brand new language.
Okay.
So the reason I do like the format where it's more, you know, not
Right, 'cause
so
like-
It
paragraphs.
is
This bullet
concise.
is this right here.
So you could strike the black.
Oh,
And you've got the same thing here, 33, 130 is the second bullet right here. So that can strike, because it's basically summarized right there.
right.
And then you could even strike the last black paragraph that's showing each newly hired employee. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, I would like
So that's
consistency.
that fourth bullet. Yep.
If we do this.
Oh, so it's consistent with the rest, I like it.
Yep. That drives me crazier.
Good catch.
So applicants for specific teachers shall meet the state's highly qualified standards. There's no discrimination in the hiring process. Is that in here?
I feel like, and this is, I don't know, is this too general to cover that, or is this last bullet the same as that top one right there?
Must hold valid Idaho certification and sign contracts approved by the state superintendent.
I mean, is there a way you could add to that with the,
But, okay, so that's saying, that, and maybe I'm not reading this correctly, certified personnel must hold Idaho certification. What the black sentence is saying, applicants for specific teaching positions shall meet the state's highly qualified standards. So, because we always have a significant amount of alt authorizations, because they don't have what is required, I think we should,
I guess this is an alt authorization still a Idaho certificate for the year?
Correct.
Like it does
It-
count
it
as a
counts.
form of a certification for
Yeah,
the year.
and so I think what's confusing is that
Mhm.
that phrase highly qualified, like we have a definition that comes to mind with highly qualified, but what the state means, like this is actually written down in their process is highly qualified means certified.
Yeah, and
To
I'm
your
trying,
point,
yeah.
I think the first black sentence there, applicants for specific, I think that is the same thing
As which
as
one?
Certified
as the
personnel must
lowest
hold.
red bullet.
Okay.
It doesn't matter to me how we say it. We could keep one over the other. To me, they're interchangeable.
I mean, because even when you're talking about a welding position, like they're gonna have to have that certification or the program goes away. Like it has nothing to do with, you know,
There's
highly
been
qualified
a lot
was a
of,
thing. I don't know when this was written. Highly qualified was a thing a while ago, but it went
Yeah, I was
away.
just gonna say there's been a lot of change at the state level specific to this over the last 5 years because
Mhm.
it's been such an issue around the whole state of Idaho that we've really reeled back the highly qualified and
Because they can't find people, probably, right?
Well, for a
Correct.
while it was super stringent and there were certain criteria that you
Mhm.
had to meet to maintain a highly
Mhm.
qualified status. It was before all the APE stuff came out. Now it's morphed into the APE qualifications, which is more of a, you can choose to do it, not you have to do it, so.
Right.
Yep.
Applicants for teaching positions shall provide evidence of meeting state requirements for regular certification and sign a statement authorizing current and past school district employers to release to the district all information related to job performance and job-related conduct.
Okay.
No, this is not legal compliance, this is just expected compliance.
Right, so this is kind of where this is at now. Oh, what was it?
Oh,
Like
sorry.
this contract pilot, like one of these, you know
Okay,
what I mean? Cause that
Gotcha.
documentation requirements and or contract finalization, I think those pieces might be similar, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's exactly the same.
To maintain the same formatting we've been doing, I think that's where it came from. There'd be our header.
oops, no. Okay, so applicants must authorize release of job performance and conduct records from current and past employers. Refusal to sign the release disqualifies the applicant from consideration. Information obtained shall be used solely for evaluating qualifications and will remain confidential. Alright, so,
That,
go ahead.
no, it just continues into that, applicants who do not sign the release shall not be considered. That is all covered in that other, just in a different way, cause it's where they said
Okay.
will be,
The district will consider information
Disqualified.
received from current and past school district employers only for the purpose of evaluating applications qualifications for employment in the position for which they have applied, and no one shall disclose who is not directly involved in the process of evaluating that okay, non-certified applicants. Okay, so I think this. Non-certificated applicants may be employed on a conditional basis pending receipt of information from current and past school district employers. Applicants shall not be prevented from gaining employment if current or past out-of-state employers are prevented from or refuse to cooperate with district's requests. Okay, so we don't have these forms, but it's in the policy. Thank you, ISBA. So we've got. Let's do this. The Board of Trustees. So this is, alright, now they have coaching assignments.
mhm.
This, I think, For secondary school coaching vacancies, preferences will be given to qualified certificated employees. Consideration does not guarantee selection. What?
Preference will be given to qualified certificated employees. I think,
You see, that's not good, just given.
well, what I
You
hear
just
in
can't
that,
give people jobs without posting.
I
Right.
think,
That's what I'm saying. All
And-
jobs should be posted district-wide.
agree, and that's, we've established that as a
Yeah.
minimum of above. I think what I read as the spirit of this is that we are maybe giving preference to people who are employed in the district as opposed to like a street coach. Is that fair?
I would, yeah, like,
Well,
and I
that's
know,
what that's saying. Well,
I
preference
think
is
the
given.
intent is,
I-
like,
that's, yeah.
you might have two equally qualified applicants for that job, and one of them even has a certificate and could become a teacher in the building, and the other one is not. If they're equally qualified, you're going to maybe lean towards the certified person that could become part of the staff.
Mhm.
Right.
Or, you know, not necessarily, we're gonna hire the guy that has a teaching certificate over the best
Over the
qualified
experienced
person,
coach, yeah.
who doesn't, but when you're looking at that pool.
But I do think we need to change the language to be more clear, because right now it,
Well, and I do think there needs to be emphasis under the coaching assignments, because they're not assignments, they're job positions. Because
They
they're
just change the
paid.
wording to
Coaching
coaching
positions.
positions instead
Yeah.
of coaching assignments.
that's fair.
Yeah.
Or to even go beyond coaching and make it extracurricular or co-curricular
Yeah.
Yeah,
activities.
which is true.
Yeah.
But I do think we need to have language stating that it will follow the above.
Guidelines for
yes.
hiring.
Yes. So. I can't think. Recruitment procedures, thank you.
I was guessing that's, like, I'm not 100% sure I would say
I don't even know
something.
where I'm at, okay.
For these positions,
Wait,
I'm just saying, instead of having coaching vacancies, you
Procedure.
could say for these positions, preference will be given to, maybe eliminate the word coaching out of there. You have two columns there.
thank you.
Mhm.
There we go.
Do we want to echo the language that was used with veterans
Earlier.
preference?
With the equally qualified, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yep.
Keep going, it's the legal right there.
Okay.
When
When
qualifications are equal.
equal.
Okay.
Right there after employees at the end.
Yeah, certified employees when applicants.
When qualifications are equal.
So for these positions, preference will be given to qualified certificated employees when qualifications are equal. Consideration does not guarantee selection.
I don't know that you need that last sentence now that we put the other verbiage in there, but that's just me.
I
That's-
agree. It also feels weird that we have the word qualified in there twice. Qualified certificated employees when qualifications are equal.
We wanna make sure they're really qualified.
I mean, I'm all for it.
There we go. So when these positions, For these positions, preference will be given to certificated employees when qualifications are equal.
Sounds great.
Okay. The last is just this one. Oopsies. Alright, so Board of Trustees, alright, no, employment is not official until the contract is approved by the board and signed by both the board chair and the applicant. Failure to return a signed contract within the designated timeframe may result in the position being declared vacant. Okay. Now, I'm curious though, why? Sorry. Okay. So the Board of Trustees of whether we keep it or not, I'm just striking that out. Will have placed before it all applicant names recommended for contract and approve applicants unless they personally have knowledge. No, you can't say that. Unless they personally have knowledge or not available to the building administrator and the screening committee. We don't always have a screening committee. In that case, the board will not take action until all concerns have been reviewed by the building program administrator. Upon approval by the Board of Trustees, a contract in a form approved by the state superintendent will be sent or given, yada, yada, yada. The applicant must sign the contract. Okay, so this is a lot of verbiage.
So this sentence right here, this application was, is already up here, just so you know.
This one?
Yeah, keep going. All the way to the end of vacant, I think. Yeah.
Declare vacant right there.
That's already up above,
Okay,
or very similarly in less words.
gotcha. Okay, so so the board is supposed to have the hiring packet, not just a list of names. And the board will approve applicants. That's not appropriate. It's within the board's purview to not approve the applicants if they feel that there's cause. So to say that the board's just gonna approve it is not appropriate. So, and that's within our current policy. But I do think there needs to be, but I don't even know what this is specific to other than I would think, if we this, go with me here.
Doesn't want to cooperate.
Yeah, it's conspiring against you there.
There we go.
There you go.
I have no idea what the deal is. So the Board of Trustees why is it being not happy anymore?
start talking bad about Google, just you wait.
Sometimes Google has it coming.
One of your locks on,
Maybe.
they lock,
Dumb
unlock,
lock
or
or, I don't know.
cap lock or something. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
No lights are on.
Shut. Fine, there we go. Hey. Alright.
Hey, her
We're just-
determination and grit is impressive. You
We're
can find a
laughing
way
with
around
you,
it.
Michelle.
It's-
What's the current practice there?
Well,
You get a list of names.
we, yeah, there's a list of names, that got generated. However, I don't know if this policy changed, but it used to be that the trustees received, the applicant packet,
For the person being recommended?
Mhm.
Okay.
which
I would
we
think
have
that's-
gone back to that, cause the board had asked for about 4 years to go back to that practice.
Okay.
And we've done it now for, I think, about a year, maybe, that we've been getting the applicant packets.
Okay.
Because with the board holding the legal responsibility and the authority for all hiring, just giving a name doesn't give any information to a trustee to say that's a good or
So,
not a good.
The application packet, is that the frontline packet?
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah,
So we're just able to see.
So I just think you should
Yeah, okay.
clarify in here, especially where it's gonna move to the front, that it would be shall receive all,
Well, I don't know how you word it, final applicant or applicants for approval, like you don't want all of them.
No, no, no.
We interviewed
I
10
gotcha.
people and, you know what I mean?
Packets for applicants being recommended for hire.
Yes. I just think you wanna make sure you're not being.
I agree. And part of my reason for asking was.
Was that?
Yeah. it's-
Like, I think I know.
What are we doing right now?
Do you really wanna see every application that we already weeded through, because
Some of them are,
some of them you're gonna be like, why did you send this our way?
yep, yeah. Recommended for hire, it's regular.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
okay, and so then I don't know that we need, cause,
Keep going, there you go.
what I'm thinking is, cause I think just tying it in back up here with, the Board of Trustees shall receive all packets for applicants being recommended for hire at its regular board meeting. You can't tell the board they have to approve all applicants, you can't do that, that's just silliness. But the fact of the matter is that, because this is saying when the board approves the hire, then the contract is issued. We've not done that. Contracts are issued all the time, people are signing contracts, and then 2 to 3 weeks down the road, it comes before the board for approval. And so that's, I mean, personally been a huge frustration when it's like the contract's already been issued, you've taken the authority away from the board. And then there's the whole.
So on the
kind of-
practical side of things, just to
Oh,
clarify
yeah,
how
you
this is
don't
gonna
wanna
run,
lose.
yeah, like you.
Yeah, you don't wanna lose the employee, and I
very
absolutely
When
competitive.
we
get it.
wanna make an offer to an
Right.
employee,
Right.
like, congratulations,
Mhm.
you know, great job in your interview, we would like to offer you the job.
Right.
And they accept,
Mhm.
especially when you're in that springtime of.
Right, but see, the policy specifically states you can't issue the contract until the board approves it, but we don't follow that, so.
Does it say can't issue the contract, or that the contract isn't valid until the board chair
It says,
signs it.
upon approval by the Board of Trustees, a contract in the form of the approved by the state superintendent of public will be sent
Sure.
or given to the applicant.
Okay.
So
'Cause I
we
know
haven't
we-
been practicing that for
We are and have been, as long as I've been in Lakeland, very, very careful to always tell our applicants that your hire is conditional upon board approval.
I understand that, but the problem, it's not problem, the struggle is the perception that even though you say that, people run around, oh, I've got the job, I've got the job.
Right.
And it's just frustrating because we're constantly putting the cart before the horse, even though the policy says that this is how it goes.
But I
you
think
know,
some of that
we're
comes
not
from when
doing
you
it.
offer a position,
Hmm?
as soon as you make the phone call to offer the position, that person now thinks, I got the job, because you
Right.
offered the position.
Exactly.
So they haven't necessarily signed a contract or been given a contract,
Right.
but they've been offered the position and it's moving to the board.
Mhm.
Even if this is our practice moving forward and that we won't get a contract till it comes to the board, I think you're still gonna hear that language. Cause as soon as somebody calls me to
Right.
say, congratulations, we'd like you to become the new assistant superintendent, or whatever, the assistant
Right, right,
principal,
right,
that
right.
I'm gonna be telling you, I got the job, and then
Yep.
word gets out, you just can't.
No, I understand that because you're dealing with 700 employees who are all like gung ho and excited. And
Well, and you have a hiring committee
So-
that, they know that, oh, yep, we made a selection, so then people start talking.
Precisely. And then it just gets frustrating because it's like, but we haven't approved it. And yet we're just down this pathway. It is what it is. And the reality is, I don't know of an instance where we've denied it. But the reality is we have that right,
Yeah.
and it's being taken away from us because of our processes. So that's where it gets really challenging in not wanting to circumvent any administrator's ability to hire someone
Mhm.
that's of a quality, definitely a good fit for the building, the district, the culture, whatever. But respecting the fact that the law says that we have to do this, and then we, you attach the cart to the horse, not the other way around.
Yeah.
So,
So what would you say that she makes some good points. We absolutely want to make sure that the building principal has the power to give the impression that that person is going to be a
Absolutely.
teacher in the building
Right.
or an employee in the
Right.
building. And we also want to be careful not to issue a contract that's going to be invalid or
Right.
that violates our own policy. In your mind, Michelle, does it come back to when we issue the contract? Like if that's a practice that we need to dial in a little bit, the contract piece, or are you suggesting something more than just that?
oh, I'm not necessarily suggesting anything in the sense that we have conflict in our policy and in our practice. And it has been a frustration for the board as long as I've been on it.
Just put on the hiring official can offer the job, but has to state to the employee that
It's
that
contingent
is
on board.
contingent upon board approval, and then after the
Okay.
board approves it, then they will have their contract signed or whatever.
Okay, so
I
let's see
don't know,
here.
just make it clear that, like, yeah, we're offering you the job,
The
but
administrator or director can
Yes.
offer the position, but final
final
approval is,
say is to the board,
Mhm.
and just so they know
the
that.
issuing of contracts is by the board.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they
I
did
think-
add in here contract finalization, which is employment is not official until the contract is approved by the board and signed by both the chair and the applicant.
I'm just saying, put some in there for the principal or the hiring official to state that, when
But
they do
but
hire
to
somebody,
Jake's point,
state that.
I think 99% of the time we are. Like,
Okay.
we would like to offer you this position, it is contingent on,
Yeah.
we've even had employees that we know based on the date of the next board meeting,
Right.
you'll be a category 1
Yep.
hire, because you will not be approved, and you will not be issued a contract until after the 1st of August. Even though maybe we did interviews in July.
Right.
So even for them to realize you will fall as a Cat 1,
Yep.
because the board will not approve, and therefore you will not be issued a contract until August.
That's a
Right.
great
Like, we
example.
have,
Yeah. And Dave, to your point, I think it's a good idea to add it in here. And your idea is valid. it's already in our administrative
Handbook.
guidelines,
Yeah.
that we use that very precise language.
Yeah, and we've got some pretty specific
Right.
verbiage as far as when you're offering a position, when you're calling somebody to say, sorry, you might be a veteran, but you're out.
Right.
We don't use those words.
Yeah.
We discriminated against you.
Reverse discrimination.
Reverse.
Uh-huh.
She gets
It's
a
real.
job automatically, without any, certificate. Was it Florida was trying to do that, veterans
They are.
teaching,
Mhm.
is it working out?
I don't know, my dad and I were talking about it. They put some pretty cool things in place.
Kinda on the job training,
Training.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
interesting.
it's super interesting concept.
Yeah.
And their idea behind it, the military side of that is there is so much, depending on what their job was in the military, they had to do so much leading and instructing and
And
some of those
training,
things.
yeah.
And, yeah.
Yep, makes
So the-
sense.
Like every
Philosophy
kid,
makes
I would
sense.
have to get like a syllabus, come in and train them on certain aircraft and step-by-step procedures. And
Mhm.
make sure they know all of everything that they need to know. And then they would have to go in front of a board and they would be asked oral questions about their job.
Hmm.
And then you would have to go in front of QA and do hands-on.
Performance.
And I mean, it's pretty in-depth.
Yeah.
It's not like just throw them out there.
Yeah, no
Cause
kidding.
you gotta go to school for 6 months to a year,
Yep.
and then you go
Well, even when you
on-job
apply
training.
for a promotion,
Oh, yeah.
like your applications for promotion process in the military is
Yes.
rigorous.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
I don't know if this is too stringent, and also the trustees may just wanna change the language completely. So, all employment offers are contingent upon board approval at its regular meeting. No contract will be issued until final approval has been given by the board. Or is that too stringent?
Based on my knowledge of how we operate now, I don't think it's too stringent. I guess I'm careful because I don't know, maybe there's a situation happening that I'm just not aware of, but I don't think we're issuing contracts before they're approved
I
by
agree.
the board. I'm thinking about all my experience as a principal. I had
Mhm.
teachers waiting,
Mhm.
new hires waiting. You have new hires waiting.
Yep.
I think this is fine.
Okay.
And I do think that that's where some of that, like, and that's the hiccup part of it, your perception of what that is and the reality of it aren't the same thing. I think people are hearing about hires
Right,
that have happened because the job was offered,
right.
not the contract was offered. And I think that distinction gets muddied, and then you've got, whether it's board members or community
Mhm.
members that feel like the
Right.
cart got put in front of the horse when
Right.
it didn't.
Right.
We just offered the position. We've come to a final decision and the hiring committee was all in agreement and
Yeah.
it's moving to the next level,
Right,
but that word gets out.
right.
And then it feels like the announcement's made before you guys got the final approval.
Right,
But I don't know if there's any way around that when you're offering a job to somebody and they're gonna be like, I'm so excited to be part of the.
Right, but I mean, even with respect to extracurricular and co-curricular,
Mhm.
it happens all the time where people have the job, the board's never approved it, the channels haven't been followed, and yet here we are. And, we're giving someone money for a job that we've hired them to do, but we're not following the processes.
When I guess when you put it that way, those positions aren't contracted. Our
Yeah, they are.
hourly,
They're supplemental contracts.
but our hourly positions are not.
Correct.
So those ones may look different when you say it that way, like it'd be,
Sometimes you hire a classified
para,
employee
and
and
you
you
want
need them
them-
to start tomorrow.
and they come in and do the background check and they pass all those things and they know that it
Mhm.
is contingent on final board approval, but we might start them and they could be work a week and done, so there's that
Right,
trial period.
Right.
In that case, I could see where, yes, that is probably practice that's happening, because we've had situations where, let's get somebody in here as quick as we can.
Right.
Especially when board meetings were canceled and it was gonna be a month, like, we can't wait a month, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, especially at the beginning of the school year, that's a tough timeline.
Yeah, it's a tight timeline.
6:59, I'll go ahead and stop recording.